Hello, hello, and welcome to Self Love Friday. Welcome to my living room, welcome to my couch. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you very much for joining me. And first up, yes, I'm 7 minutes late. My apologies for that. It actually ties in with today's theme, so I'll get to that in a minute or so. So, first of all, welcome. And if you are joining me, let me know where from. Where are you logging in from? And how are you today? And I start with that very specific question, how are you today? Because I encourage you to think about the question, like really think about the question. Don't just give your off the cuff answer that you give to everyone. Most people say fine. Um, Recently, I'm working with a coach who's also a friend of mine. I'm very, very blessed, but we've managed to split the relationship well enough that we can work in a coaching situation as well. And she challenged me on my off the cuff answer to how are you? So I'm challenging you in return, which brings me to today's theme, reality versus illusion. And the title of today's talk is Who Am I? And that question is something that I have been working with my whole life. You probably have too. However, I know that so many of us get so wrapped up and so caught up in life and everyday living and what needs to be done and just all the trappings of life as a human being on planet Earth that so often we lose touch with the essence of the answer to that question, who am I? And we stop asking it. For me, it is the theme of my life. Who am I? It's why I do what I do. It's why I work with other people to help them to come to terms with who they really are. Hello, JJ. Thank you so much for being here. Um, JJ, it's also important to understand the person asking the question, the how are you question, if they truly want to know the honest answer. Yes, that is such a good point. Um, Definitely. It's about discerning, and discernment is such an important thing, but it is about discerning who am I with, who's asking me how I am. More importantly than that, even JJ, is that even if you do give your off the cuff answer, if you do give your normal, I'm fine or I'm good, I like to say I'm good because it really, really is true. Most of the time, I am good. I've been very blessed in my life. I've had great experiences, great relationships, great growth. So usually I am good, regardless of circumstances. So that's my off the cuff answer. However, when we're discerning, does this person want to really know how I am? It's about just like I have certain relationships where I can really show up and really, really express how I really am in that moment. And others, I say good. However, if I'm not 100% good or I'm giving them the off the cuff answer and there's other stuff going on, it's about staying aware within myself as to what's really going on with me. What state of being am I really in? Um, and so that brings me back to the who am I question and the reality versus illusion situation. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about my current reality. So my current reality is on a physical level. I am experiencing a lot of tiredness. I'm experiencing weird body temperature fluctuations. I'm experiencing a bit of a lack of energy in various areas of my life where I just kind of don't feel like stuff. I am sometimes, so there's a lack of energy and then there are bursts of energy. So sometimes I have this great energy and I do so much physically, and other times I just feel like I can't. I'm experiencing shifts in what I want to eat. I've recently cut out eating red meat and it's been quite a long time. Well, a long time as in, for me, weeks, but it's realizing that I just don't want it anymore. Um, Trying to cut out refined sugar as much as possible, realizing how that's a bit more of a struggle than I thought it would be. So that's me on a physical level. On an emotional level, my heart, I am experiencing lots of beautiful emotions, some very deep and intense, which sometimes throw me a little bit. And yet as much as I experience deep and intense ones, I experience light and bubbling over ones as well, and it's wonderful. And as has always been the case in my life, my emotions tend to come out of my eyes a lot. So I'm either laughing with tears streaming, or I can be really, really feeling something deep with tears streaming, or I can be telling a story that touched my heart with tears streaming. So there's usually a lot of tears and a lot of laughter. Um, on a mental level, I'm experiencing, again, similar to my energy, I'm experiencing ups and downs. So I have these incredible times of mental clarity and ideas and focus. And then I have other times where I just have brain fog. And then on a soul level, I'm in the most incredible space, just soaring and getting bigger and better and feeling more alive than ever before on the soul level. So that's me. Why am I sharing this with you today? Because it comes back to my point. I today am showing up very much as I am in my reality. I am aware of my reality. There is no illusion here. I was late coming on because of my reality, because today was one of those days where my physical and mental energy plummeted. I literally felt like I had nothing to offer this morning on a physical and mental level, and yet my soul knew that there was something to say. I could feel it in my heart. And so I eventually managed to drag myself in front of this camera, and only 7 minutes late, but I am still in my yoga kit because I haven't really accomplished much else today other than actually getting up out of bed, having a really, really wonderful, long, heart-to-heart phone call with my sister who lives in Australia, and getting as far as getting ready for yoga and never actually doing the yoga. So I've managed to shower, I've managed a good conversation, and I came up with our talk today. Thank you, Lynn. My sister and I had the most beautiful conversation, and it was about reality versus illusion. That's her tagline. That's her little statement that she always says worries her the most about people today. And I told her I was going to run with it and create a series on it. And so I'm going to talk to you about it for the next few weeks, probably 5, because I want us to discuss the ins and outs of what is really going on. What is your reality? The question, who am I really? Versus the illusion of who should I be? Who do I think I should be? Who am I being? And I want to talk about it on a physical level, body, how we're showing up. Are we true to our bodies? Are we happy with our bodies? Are we covering up? Are we feeling shame about parts of our physical self? Are we pushing ourselves too hard on a physical level? So I want to talk about physical. I want to talk about emotional, heart space. Who are you really? Where are you at? What is your reality? I want to talk about mental space. Who are you? What are your thoughts? Do you stop your thoughts because they might be too controversial? They might go against what everyone is saying, or what you feel you should be saying, you think you should be saying, what you think is the right thing to say or think, keeping some ideas to yourself. And then I want to talk about it on a soul level. How often do you connect with the innermost parts of your being? Because to me, that is where the answer lies. Who am I? I am so much more than this physical expression. I'm so much more than my feelings. I'm so much more than my thoughts. There is more. And so it's about connecting with that. And then I want to talk about taking that reality into your life. How am I living my reality? How can I bring my reality and my truth and who I really am into my life? So it's probably going to be 5, maybe 6 weeks ahead that we're going to talk about this, bringing it back to each section of who we are: body, emotions, mind, and spirit. And just to intro it a bit today, there is just so much coming at us from the media. There is so much coming at us from other people. So as we feel judged, or as we feel measured, as we feel like we need to be a certain way, we take that out to others as well. And we're all doing that to each other on some level or another. Some of us less than others, sure. Some of us are all about creating space for love, creating space for people to show up as they are. For me, it's my life mission is to create more space in the world for people to be who they really are and to show up as they are. But the world is really, really full of, you should have big, full lips. You should have a tiny, thin nose. You should have tight, tight facial skin and no wrinkles. You should have high cheekbones that people get fillers in their face. You should have a nice big round bottom. You should have a tiny waist. You should have sculptured arms. All of these things. And so often they come from the place where that comes from is not wrong or evil. For example, let's use sculptured arms as an example. Yes, that is an expression of a healthy, strong body. Awesome. Isn't that what we all want? Or you should be quiet when your opinion might hurt somebody's feelings. Where that comes from is great. You don't want to hurt people. You don't want to cause harm. But is it resulting in you silencing your truth? Or you should be cheerful and happy and positive. How is that affecting how you really feel? Are you squashing yourself when you feel pain or when you feel sadness? So these are the things that my sister and I were chatting about this morning, that it is so frightening for us to see young people struggling to find a sense of who they are when they're in a world where everything's coming at them in real time. So we were chatting about when we were younger, and I know it's such a classic. I mean, didn't our parents do the same thing when I was young? And then the parents before, the generation before them, like we all do it apparently, because my sister and I were having this chat. But she said something so interesting. She said, we were chatting about photos and, posing for photos and all sorts. And we were saying how when we were younger, my mom, we both take millions of photos. In fact, my brothers do as well. So all four of us take loads of photos all the time of everything. And it's because I'm sure we grew up with a mom who did that. That absolute pleasure of capturing those moments and storing them. However, when we were young, photographs had to be developed. There was no such thing as a camera in your phone. There was no such thing as a digital camera even. When we grew up, there were cameras that used film and had to be developed. So as we were chatting, she said, we never knew, we couldn't pose. We could pose a little bit, we could do our best, we could smile, but we were really in the moment. So often, it was the case of whoever was taking the photograph would say, stop, stand still, look at the camera, smile, and it would last 3 seconds. They'd have to get their photo because we'd carry on with the moment. It would be whatever we were talking about, laughing, whatever we were doing, would carry on. And she hit the nail on the head when she said, we never saw those photos for at least a week, usually, because we'd have to hand them in and it would take days before. So by the time you got to finish your film on your camera first, because you had to take a certain number of photos before it was ready to take out, then you'd have to, by the time you took it into a Photoshop to hand the film in, there were those days in between, and then however many hours or days it took to develop them. Initially, it used to be days. So then it became faster, and it became like you could get your photos done in half a day, and then it became 1 hour labs. It was so exciting. You could get your photos in 1 hour. You still had to finish the film first, though. So we never saw them. So it would be like a week or 2 weeks later when we saw the photos. And then again, that was a chance to just enjoy that moment and laugh at it. Because so often, the photo that you thought was going to be perfect ended up being a really funny photo. And it didn't degrade the value of the photograph. We still kept those photos. Obviously, if it was completely out of focus and you couldn't see what was going on, you would check it. But there were photos of people doing strange things or pulling strange faces because they didn't smile in time, they were still talking or whatever. But it was still, the moment was captured, and that was good enough. Whereas now, what we're seeing is instant feedback in the moment. And the feedback is usually, you're not making the grade. You're not good enough. So young people, all of us at any age are getting it. However, young minds and young souls are so much more sensitive to it because they're really getting to grips with the who am I question. fresher. It's still a fresh question for them. And they're doing it in the context of having all this, the messaging coming at them real time about what you should look like, how you should be acting, how you should be feeling, and what you should be thinking. And it's instant feedback. So on the physical side, how you should be looking, they take a photo and they see straight away, oh my goodness, I don't look like the photo I saw on Instagram 5 minutes ago. I go back onto Instagram, that photo's gone, there's a new one, a new pose, a new what you should be doing. So for me, that's why this reality versus illusion comes back to the question, who am I at my core? And there's going to be a lot of me talking about meditation, because in order to really get the answer to that question, mindfulness is required. Connection on a deep, deep level is required. And the only way to do that is to get quiet. The only way to do that is to cut out all the noise that the world is coming at you with and to get quiet. And so I encourage you, this is the intro. Next week, we will look at physical on a much deeper level. We're going to look at the whole body connection, look at what we expect ourselves to look like. Like the beauty of aging, the beauty of having lines. I love having these lines. These lines tell me about all the laughter that I've enjoyed, all the millions of smiles that I've had painted on my face over the years, and the tears. I have this little eye bag on the one side that just never wants to go away. And for some strange reason, that eye bag reminds me of two things. The first one is it reminds me of my party days, because I had some really, really fabulously naughty party days where, yes, I wasn't the best friend to my body because I was drinking too much, but I was having so much fun. That reminds me of that. And it also reminds me of some of the tears that I've shed, because for some reason, when I look at that little bag, I think, some sad moments. And there is nothing wrong with celebrating my sad moments and celebrating my bad moments. They were great. They were part of who I am. So, yeah, next week we'll be looking at very much on the body level, getting to grips with who am I? Who am I really? My reality versus illusion. And so in the week now, between this Friday and next Friday, I encourage you to just start noticing. Just start thinking about who am I? And start thinking about your reality versus the illusion of the should that you think or you perceive. You might not even give it a lot of thought, but it's there. That perception of what maybe I think I should be doing or being or saying. And just start noticing it a bit, and we'll talk way more about it next Friday. JJ, you say, how exciting, this sounds like such a great journey. I do hope so. I really do hope so. Because the answer to that question, who am I really believe can change the world. And it's about, as I said, about connecting to the true essence of who we all are. So thank you so much for being with me today. I look forward to doing this journey with you over the next number of weeks. And let's get in touch. Let's get in touch with who we really are. Please, if you are on here, do give this video a like and share it with people. I would love to get as many people as possible on this journey with us. So share it. I am really going to focus on tech this week. I know I say that every week, but every week I get a little bit closer. I'm still not there yet where I'm streaming this video out live to all the platforms. Hopefully next week I will be there, because I really think this is important. This is an important question for us to ask ourselves and to find the answer, and to keep asking and keep finding new levels of the answer to the question, who am I? So enjoy this week. Enjoy this week thinking about that question, and keep loving yourself through the process, no matter what answers come up for you, because sometimes the answers can feel a bit tough. And remember, you are worthy. Your life matters. So love yourself, and I will see you next week. Thank you for being here. Ciao for now.